lost a lot of people during COVID. Most of them are still alive. I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got to dig his direct energy weapons in Antarctica.
Welcome to Not My Reality. I'm your host, as always, Vince Stradamus. Thank you for joining us as we take a look at one of America's greatest myths, our biggest urban legend, that Joe Rogan is funny. Yep, that's the elephant in the room. Is Joe Rogan funny? A great comedian? Or is it more like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, aliens? People swear they exist. They say they're real, but no one's even seen it or heard it. There's no proof. Just like Joe Rogan actually being funny. It's a parody. If you don't have a sense of humor, go. Welcome. Is this my reality? Is this your reality? We have been waiting for 6 years for a new stand-up special by the king of all podcasts, UFC announcer and alleged comedian Joe Rogan. 6 years, that's a long time. I'm assuming this special is going to be great, friggin' hilarious, with new funny jokes, new angles. Then the new special, Burn the Boats on Netflix, was released. Full disclosure, we first heard of Rogan way back. His news radio days, the UFC, of course Fear Factor, which Joe has to include in every freaking stand-up special he does, and this one's no different. But where we got to know Joe the best was from his frequent visits to the Opie and Anthony radio show. That's where comics would all sit around, shoot the shit, and destroy each other with brutal insults. That version of the O&A show is what Rogan actually based his whole podcast empire on, that format. But thinking back on it now, Joe was always more the straight man during those visits to the studio, dropping his high talk, his conspiracies, but in a room with the likes of the late great Patrice O'Neal, Bill Burr, the old Bill Burr, Colin Quinn, Rich Voss, Jimmy Norton, Jim Brewer, Anthony Cumia. In a room with people like that, look, I'm not saying Rogan is not interesting, but interesting is interesting, and funny is funny. Now don't get confused here. I'm not one of these butthurt leftists complaining about Joe's subject matter. You should be able to joke about anything, any subject. Jokes can be offensive, but I wasn't offended by any of the jokes. If that's your thing, if you want to censor comedy, yeah, fuck off with that. So if it wasn't the subject matter, what was it? Joe's just not funny. I mean not funny in the classical sense of funny, like, to make you laugh funny. Joe's more like, isn't that some crazy shit? And, hey, that guy over there, he knows what I'm talking about. Joe, the fucking guy doesn't know what you're talking about. He doesn't have a fucking clue what you're talking about, okay? From his weird movements on stage to all those damn facial expressions after every punchline. He's mugging after every... Look at his faces. We get it, Joe. That's some crazy shit. And his delivery is not natural. It's rushed, almost like he's bored with his own material. And he wants to speed through it like a kid looking for his next pop of Adderall. And I don't know who picked out his clothes for this one, but he looks like a kid in his dad's shirt. But that's neither here nor there. And the jokes. More like, that's some crazy shit. This special wants to seem edgy so bad. Like doing COVID jokes, gay and trans jokes, Michelle Obama has a penis joke. Fucking edgy, right? You'd think. But Joe likes to keep it middle of the road even when dealing with these hot topics. Just another safe take with a predictable punchline. Then he makes a goofy ass face and says, isn't that some crazy shit? If you're going to say that Michelle Obama has a penis, don't backtrack. Just say she has a penis. Joan Rivers did. Oh yeah, it didn't work out too well for her though. I don't know if this is part of the plan. A plan like they always do to make us alleged conservatives look stupid. I couldn't get through this new special. I had to turn it off. I started feeling secondhand embarrassment for Joe. the medical term, douche chills. I mean, did anybody watch this before it came out? I'd love to meet the people that thought this was a fucking laugh riot. And then we have the fear factor joke that goes on way too long. And hey, Joe, did we go to the moon or did we not go to the moon? Make up your steroid-addled mind finally. Yeah, I know, Joe. That's some crazy shit. Look, Joe Rogan is great at a lot of things. UFC commentator, podcaster, TV show host, actor. But the one thing he sucks at is stand-up comedy. Look, take a piece of your own advice that you gave to, remember UFC fighter Brandon Schuab? The actual worst stand-up comedian ever. And Joe actually told him he was funny.
Where you at now, I don't see you beating the elite guys.
But take your own advice, Joe. I'm going to be you right here. And this is what I'm going to tell you. You're not that good at stand-up. You should think about doing something else. I mean, you think you can go in there against the best and stand a chance? Against a Pryor, a Carlin, a Kinnison, Eddie Murphy? You think if you go in there against a real comedian, you've got a shot?
I don't see you beating Cain Velasquez. I don't see you beating Junior Dos Santos. I don't see you beating Fabricio Verdum.
Joe like Schuab, you're going to say, yes, I do. And Joe, me being you, I'm going to tell you. I'm telling you, you don't.
Really? You think so? Mm-hmm. I think you'd be surprised. I really do. I think he'd fuck you up. There's a certain amount there's a bridge between you and the very best guys in the world.
Just stop doing stand-up before somebody gets hurt.
It's not that you don't try hard. It's not that you're not dedicated. It's not that you're not disciplined. It's not that you're not intelligent. There's shit that other people can do that you can't do.
Don't get it wrong, we enjoy Joe Rogan. We know he's a gatekeeper, but they're all gatekeepers at this point. Have you seen his new special though? Burn the Boats? I mean, it's a stupid fucking name too. Like, what boats? Whose boats? What is this supposed to mean? No one's coming over on boats. Oh, I forget. It's edgy, man. That's some crazy shit. Look, Joe's gonna be just fine with his Spotify money. He does a lot of things well. It's just stand-up comedy isn't one of them. If it's another 6 years before his next special, I don't think anyone's gonna mind. Leave a comment down below. Let's get the fuck out of here. I want to go binge news radio. Enjoy the greatness that was the late Bill Hartman. I'll see you there. Peace.